Drawing is hard. Well, what if it didn't have to be? I'm that art Hashira, and today I'm going to be starting a new series on my channel called Mini Art Lessons, where I'm going to teach you guys how to draw certain things, do certain things, and even what supplies to use, which is what I'm going to be doing in this first installment. Starting off with, we're going to have which pencil is which, because they're all labeled differently, which eraser I recommend, why I always carry a big brush around when I draw, and even what these are. Let's get into it. Arguably the most important tool in the artist's arsenal is a sketchbook. I definitely recommend this brand. My friend got this for me for my birthday, and I've been really enjoying it. It's such good quality paper. I see a lot of artists using these, and I really like them. They really challenge you to use your creativity to try to fill up the pages in a way that's satisfactory to you. I have a lot of people telling me that they want me to draw certain characters like Hinata from Haikyuu or Luffy from One Piece, Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs. I kind of feel like I ruined this one by trying that one trend, but it's fine. I drew an Enderman too. There's just all kinds of things that you can do with a sketchbook. The sky is the limit. It truly is. Up next are the pencils and erasers. These are also super important tools for any artists. Now, we're going to start off with pencils, right? This is your standard HB pencil. It's what you use for your base sketches. Well, at least what I use. HB is basically your standard number 2 pencil. That's what this little scribble mark right here is. Same thing as the kind of pencil that you used in school. A 2B pencil has softer graphite in the tip, meaning that it makes a little bit of a darker line. You have a 4B pencil, which again, softer graphite, meaning that it's even darker than 2B, and 6B is even softer than that. Now you can go on to have 8B pencils. You can even have H pencils, which are harder graphite, which means they mark lighter. I personally prefer to sketch with an HB pencil, standard number 2, easy stuff. I hardly ever use these, I'm not even going to lie to you. Now, for the other important part, erasers. Sometimes when you get an eraser in an art kit, it's not exactly the best. They're inflexible and sometimes they just don't even erase good. For example, this is a pencil that I got in an art kit from my mom. Not complaining because my parents get me a lot of art supplies, but sometimes they just don't do what they're supposed to. Then again, this eraser is pretty old. I would recommend Papermate Pink Pearl erasers. As you can see, I've used this one a decent amount. This is probably the third one I've gone through in the course of this entire channel. And when I say gone through, I mean I was erasing it with an eraser no bigger than my thumb, and it was actually hurting me to erase with it, so I had to buy a new one. These, super good to erase with. They can erase pretty much everything. This is the 6B pencil. It's super easy to just erase stuff. It's so much better than an art supply pencil. These are a lot cheaper as well. I can tell you that I've probably seen these in dollar stores. They're super good and I definitely recommend them. Now you see all these little things? These little eraser nubs? Yeah. You wonder why I carry a brush around in my art kit? It's so you don't smudge the graphite of the pencils when you brush these off. Super useful to carry a brush around. I use a big paintbrush. You could use a makeup brush. It really doesn't matter as long as it gets the job done. These are super useful to have, and I'm not the only artist who uses them. Up next, we have liner pens. These aren't necessary, but I would definitely recommend them. They make outlining your drawings so much easier. You have different size variations, and they really help to bring your drawings off the paper. So the kind I have is the Superior Needle Drawing Pens, and I have it in an array of sizes from 0.5 all the way up to a 20, which is what this is. These are super useful, and I 100% recommend these. If you can't get these, Zebra also works super well. I really love these things. Ever since I started outlining with needle pens, I have never ever wanted to go back to ballpoint pens. Now let's say that you want to get a highlight on the eyes. Trust me, using whiteout is messy, and sometimes it just doesn't work the way you want it to. I'm trying to find an example here. Alright, so whiteout would have been nearly impossible to do this with, which is why I'm bringing to you Jelly Roll gel pens. These things, all kinds of artists use them. I got a variety pack at Michael's. I have a 10, I have an 8, and I have a 5. Different size tips means different size outputs. These are so much easier to draw with on these surfaces than whiteout was. And believe me, I used to use whiteout pens to try to do my highlights. Super messy, and they did not dry as easily. So I definitely recommend this brand. They're gel pens. They're super good. All kinds of artists use them, and I 100% recommend that you use them too. Next up, I'm going to be recommending some pencils that you can use that are not that expensive, that can help you to get all of the different skin tones without dropping $100 on Prismacolor. Because believe me, not all artists can afford to drop $100 on Prismacolor, especially because Prismacolor pencils wear out super easy. So, without further ado, may I introduce the Crayola Skin Pack pencils. They are amazing. You have all kinds of different skin tones that you can use. They're super effective, and they help me to bring depth to my characters that I draw. I 100% recommend them, and they're certainly a lot cheaper than Prismacolor. The last two things I have for you are this and this. This is a color chart that came with a colored pencil kit that I got for Christmas. It comes with the number on the colored pencil and the name of it, and it all comes blank, so you get to fill it out yourself and see what pencil makes what mark. It's super useful so that you don't have to make the mistake of using the wrong color and having to worry about trying to erase it and ruining an eraser. This is also super useful because I know we've all had instances where we've used a marker and it bled through on the other side and we've ruined the piece of paper underneath it. That won't happen if you put like a piece of cardboard, something, rip the back off a notebook. I've done that before. If you put that underneath there and then use the marker, it'll bleed through onto this instead of the next page. And these are super useful to have. Like I said, it can be thick paper, it can be the back of a notebook, it can be anything. As long as it'll catch all the bleeding and leave the next page safe and sound and white as snow, just the way it was. These are super useful things to have. I really hope that you've enjoyed this installment of mini art lessons. I really hope you found it useful, and I will be trying to upload the next installment as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm that Art Hashira, and I just want to say I love you guys. Bye!